You wake up at 6:14 in the morning. The room is quiet except for the soft hum of the air conditioner. Sunlight slips through the curtains in thin golden lines. Your phone buzzes once on the nightstand. Not an alarm, a payment notification. You don't reach for it immediately. You stretch, walk barefoot across the wooden floor, open the window. The city below is already awake, but somehow it no longer feels like it's asking anything from you. The coffee begins to drip into your favorite mug. Somewhere outside, a dog barks. A bicycle rolls past. You glance at your calendar. Nothing on it has to happen today. You smile without realizing it. The strange part isn't the money, it's that no one can tell, just by looking at you, how long it took to make mornings feel this quiet. Because 10 years earlier, your entire financial life could fit inside one worn-out wallet. It held exactly enough for lunch. Maybe you remember standing in a grocery store, comparing two brands of pasta for nearly 5 minutes because one cost 80 cents less. Nobody noticed. To everyone else, it looked like shopping. To you, it felt like survival. That night, sitting at a tiny kitchen table with a flickering light above your head, you transferred $50 into an investment account. The number looked almost embarrassing. You laughed at it. What could $50 possibly change? You almost closed the app forever. You didn't know that tiny decision had already changed something far more important than your balance. It changed how you saw yourself. But you wouldn't notice that until much later. At 24, your life still belonged to the clock. The office smelled like burnt coffee and printer paper. Every Monday sounded the same, chairs rolling, phones ringing, someone complaining before lunch. Your coworker loved talking about expensive watches. Every payday, he bought something new. Another gadget, another weekend trip, another monthly payment. He always looked successful. You kept bringing leftovers in a plastic container. Nobody complimented your discipline. Most people mistook it for being broke. You stopped trying to explain yourself. Instead, every month, another small transfer disappeared from your checking account before you could spend it. Nothing exciting happened, which made you wonder if excitement was the very thing keeping everyone else stuck. Then one afternoon, something unexpected happened. Not to your money, to your fear. At 27, you walked through an airport carrying only a backpack. Your vacation wasn't longer than anyone else's, but for the first time, you realized the trip had already been paid for months earlier. No credit card, no silent panic, no calculating what would happen after you came home. A couple sitting nearby argued over unexpected travel costs. The conversation started quietly. By boarding time, neither of them was speaking. You looked out the window as the plane climbed through the clouds. Freedom wasn't luxury. Sometimes it was simply traveling without bringing tomorrow's anxiety with you. Still, this wasn't the level you had imagined. There was another door waiting to open. By 30, people started asking different questions. Not, "Are you busy?" but, "How did you do that?" You noticed something strange. Your paycheck no longer decided whether your month would be good. Your investments weren't dramatic enough to impress anyone, but your rent never surprised you anymore. Unexpected expenses stopped feeling like emergencies. Your younger cousin laughed when you turned down a flashy investment everyone on social media seemed obsessed with. "It'll double in 3 months," he said. "It always goes up." Everyone around him sounded certain. The screenshots looked convincing. The comments were full of people celebrating overnight wins. For one evening, you almost joined them. Your finger hovered above the button. It felt foolish not to. It felt even more foolish to wait. So you closed the app. Months later, the excitement disappeared. The screenshots stopped. Nobody mentioned it again, except the people quietly rebuilding what they'd lost. You realized patience rarely makes headlines, but it changes endings. Still, money had one more illusion left to break. At 33, your apartment looked almost exactly the same. Friends expected something bigger, something louder, some proof. Instead, they found shelves filled with books, sunlight on hardwood floors, plants growing near the windows, and a refrigerator stocked without checking prices. One friend couldn't understand it. "If you can afford more, why don't you buy more?" You looked around. Everything you owned had a place. Nothing was asking for attention. That evening, while washing dishes, you realized your purchases had stopped being conversations with other people. They had become conversations with yourself. You no longer bought things to become someone. You bought them because they genuinely improved your days. It was such a quiet shift that almost nobody noticed, except you, and somehow, that was enough. Then life tested whether your freedom was real. It happened on a rainy Thursday. The phone rang. Someone you loved needed help. Immediately, years earlier, that call would have filled you with helplessness. You would have wanted to help, but wanting wasn't enough. This time, you booked the ticket before finishing the conversation. No calculations, no borrowing, no choosing between kindness and survival. The airport lights reflected off the wet pavement as your taxi pulled away. For the first time, money had become invisible. Not because you had so much, because it had stopped standing between you and the people you cared about. That night, sitting beside a hospital window, you understood something impossible to explain with numbers. Financial freedom wasn't changing your lifestyle. It was changing your response time. Life no longer had to wait for permission, but another transformation had already begun. At 37, work became optional, not unnecessary. Optional. You still woke up early, still made coffee, still answered emails. The difference was hidden inside one sentence. I don't have to. A former manager invited you to lunch. He looked exhausted. His calendar controlled every hour. His phone interrupted every conversation. Halfway through the meal, he asked, almost jokingly, "So when are you retiring?" You looked out the restaurant window. People hurried through the crosswalk, beneath changing traffic lights. You smiled. "I don't think I was trying to retire." He frowned, because there wasn't a simple answer. You hadn't escaped work. You had escaped dependency. There was a difference. One changes your schedule. The other changes your identity. Driving home, traffic barely moved. For years, you hated moments like this. Now they felt strangely peaceful. You weren't rushing toward Friday anymore. The week had stopped having enemies. And then, one ordinary morning became unforgettable. You wake up at 6:14 again. The same sunlight, the same coffee, the same quiet apartment. Nothing extraordinary happens. Your phone buzzes with another payment. You barely glance at it. Instead, you watch steam rise from your mug as the city slowly wakes beneath your window. Somewhere below, someone is rushing to catch a train. Someone is arguing over bills. Someone is wondering if things will ever feel easier. Years ago, that someone was you. Now the silence in your apartment feels different. Not empty, earned. The greatest change was never the balance in your account. It was the moment your future stopped feeling like something you had to chase and quietly became the place you were already living.